I noticed it first on a Wednesday morning. I only realized something was off because I stubbed my toe on the corner of my bed. I've lived in this room for 3 months now. Same layout, same morning routine, same bleary shuffle toward my desk to check if I'd missed any passive-aggressive seminar emails. I don't stub my toe, not unless something's moved. The bed frame was about 6 inches further from the wall than usual. Not by a lot, but enough that I knew. It left a thin line of dust visible on the carpet where it used to sit like a ghost outline. That's what made me stop. I stood there, blinking at it. It's not the kind of bed you move by accident. Solid wood. Heavy. You have to lift one end to reposition it, and it makes this awful scraping noise that echoes through the flat. There's no way someone could have moved it during the night without waking me up or the rest of the building. I checked my door. Locked from the inside, same as always. Window, still latched. Room, still mine. My first thought was, maybe I did it in my sleep. But I don't sleepwalk. I don't even toss and turn much. I wake up in the same position I fall asleep in, usually with my arm completely numb and my pillow covered in drool. I moved the bed back, more annoyed than anything. My toe throbbed. That's when I noticed the lamp. It sits on my desk, angled toward my chair. Always has. I'm obsessive about my lighting setup. I do all my coursework late, and that little spotlight of yellow is the only thing keeping me from going blind during all-nighters. Now it was facing the wall, not knocked or bumped. Rotated deliberately, like someone had turned it so the light was pointing into the corner instead of the desk. Like someone wanted it not to shine on my work, or on me. I frowned, tried to remember if I'd done it. Maybe I'd been on a call and didn't want the glare in my face. Maybe I bumped it while grabbing my charger. Except it wasn't just the lamp. My chair was at a different angle too, slightly pulled out from the desk. The plug for my laptop wasn't in the socket. It was neatly coiled on the table like I was prepping for a move. Nothing stolen, nothing damaged, just arranged, carefully, quietly. I didn't mention it to the others. At uni, half the flats usually hung over or high at any given point, and everyone's constantly borrowing or touching each other's stuff without asking. But my door was locked, still locked, and I sleep light. I would have heard it, right? I shook it off, told myself I was tired, maybe stressed. Maybe it was nothing, just uni paranoia, cabin fever, messing with myself. But that night, when I got into bed, I moved the lamp back to face the desk. I pushed the chair in and plugged the charger back in. And just before I turned off the light, I took a quick photo of my room, just to be sure. I didn't plan to mention anything. I figured if I started telling people I thought my furniture was moving on its own, someone would recommend I see a therapist. Or worse, start recording me while I sleep for TikTok clout. But I didn't have to bring it up. It was Katie who cracked first. I was in the kitchen waiting for the kettle to scream when she appeared in the doorway looking like hell. Oversized hoodie, yesterday's eyeliner, socks that didn't match. Not unusual, but there was this weird tightness in her face, like she hadn't slept properly. "You were up late, right?" she asked. I shrugged. "Yeah, why?" "Did you go in my room?" I blinked. "No, why would I?" My mirrors moved. She leaned against the counter, arms crossed. Not accusing exactly, but watching me too closely. It's not just moved, it's angled. Like deliberately, I always keep it facing the window. Now it's turned toward the bed, and my ring light's unplugged. That made me pause. "Maybe you did it and forgot," I offered, "like sleepwalking or something?" She shook her head. "I don't sleepwalk. And I always plug my ring light in before bed because I use it as a lamp. I even remember switching it on." She paused. "And my phone was under the bed this morning. I don't keep it there." We stood in silence for a beat, kettle bubbling up behind us. "You sure you didn't go in?" she asked. "Positive," I said. "My door was locked. Didn't leave my room." "Mine wasn't," she muttered, then added too casually, "It is now." Later that day, I bumped into Jen in the hallway. She was standing outside the bathroom, arms folded, staring at nothing. "You moved my desk," she said, not looking at me. "Jesus Christ, not this again." "It's facing the window now, dead center, perfect alignment, like some interior design freak came in during the night and decided to feng shui my coursework stress." She turned, narrowed her eyes. "That's not a joke, by the way. The chair's lined up too. My Bluetooth speaker's been unplugged and the plugs folded over the top neatly." Neatly. She pulled out her phone and showed me a photo. "I don't do neat," she said. The desk was immaculate, lined up like it was being presented in an IKEA showroom. A water bottle dead center, coaster aligned, chair pushed in. It looked curated. Jen doesn't curate. Jen leaves half-empty monster cans in every room like she's claiming territory. "You trying to mess with us for content or something?" she asked. "Like a prank channel or some flat horror story bullshit?" "I swear I'm not doing anything," I said, holding up my hands. She didn't say anything else, just walked into the bathroom and closed the door harder than necessary. We had dinner together that night, well, kind of. Everyone microwaved their own disasters and ended up orbiting around the living room like lazy satellites. One person on the sofa, two on the floor. Carrie perched on the armrest like a gremlin, bowl of pesto pasta in hand. "What if we're doing it to ourselves in our sleep?" she asked between mouthfuls. "Or maybe there's some flat elf," Sally added, yawning. "Like that story, the cobbler thing. But instead of shoes, it just wants our shit symmetrical." "Casper the anal retentive," Jen muttered. There was laughter, light, scattered, a little too forced. Then someone said quietly, "Or maybe we've got a creep with a key." Everyone stopped for a second. Then Katie snorted. "If someone's creeping around rearranging my shit instead of robbing me, they're the weirdest criminal alive." "Or the most patient," Sally said. She was mostly under a blanket now, just her eyes and wine glass visible. "They're playing the long game. Next week they'll alphabetize our books and sort the spice rack by trauma." More laughter. As we all went off to bed, I heard it. The quiet click, one by one. Everyone was locking their doors now, including mine. And yet, in the morning, things still weren't quite right. I started keeping a log. Not some proper journal or anything, just a note on my phone titled ? Where I listed what had changed and when. At first it was small stuff. Thursday 9:12, bed 4 inches off center. Friday 8:44, lamp turned fully toward wall again. Saturday 10:03, bin emptied, perfectly clean bag, no smell. That last one weirded me out more than the others. We're 5 students living in a 3-bed flat. No one empties the bin without complaining about it at least twice. And definitely not without stuffing it full of food wrappers, crushed Red Bulls, and someone's half-eaten rice that started its own ecosystem. But Saturday morning, pristine. Bag tucked neatly around the rim. No overhang, no smell, no noise. Like it had never been used. That same night, I moved my desk slightly, just to test something. I dragged it an inch to the left, not enough to notice casually, but enough that I'd know. I took a photo before bed, tucked my chair in, locked the door, left my charger plugged in, did everything exactly how I wanted it. Woke up the next morning, desk was back, chair slightly further under, charger unplugged and coiled neatly on the windowsill. But the worst part, there was a fresh post-it note on my monitor that said, "Nice try." I stood there for so long, my phone alarm restarted. I didn't touch anything. I didn't even breathe properly. No one else had keys to my room. No one had come in. I checked the photo, desk moved, time-stamped. I checked the new one, desk back, time-stamped. It wasn't a prank, not anymore. I confronted the others in the kitchen, calmly. No accusations. I just said, "Someone's in my room while I sleep." They all looked at me like I'd dropped a turd in the sink. "You sure you're not just doing it and forgetting?" Carrie asked, voice too light. "No offense, mate, but you're not exactly a heavy sleeper," Katie added. You wake up when someone breathes outside your door. Could be stress, Sally offered. You've got that coursework due, right? Jen didn't say anything, just stared into her cereal like it had answers. So I asked her directly, anything weird in your room? She hesitated, long enough to make everyone else turn toward her. My laptop's on the floor every morning, she said finally. Closed, battery dead. I keep it charging on my desk every night. Could have fallen, someone said. Every night? No one responded. And it's not just fallen, Jen added. It's placed, right under the bed, and my desk drawers always open a crack. She looked up. Someone's looking through my stuff. I can feel it. That night, we all locked our doors again. Some of us stacked chairs against the handle. Sally wedged a spoon under hers for vibes. Didn't matter. Next morning, every room was changed. Katie's desk had been rotated a full 90 degrees to face her wardrobe. Carrie's bookshelf was sorted by color. Sally's wall calendar was flipped to October 2031. Mine, everything was perfect. Bed, desk, and lamp aligned like a blueprint. Every item spaced evenly, a line of socks laid out end to end, like someone had measured the gaps between them. And on my windowsill, another post-it. This one said, better. By this point, I'd ruled out a prank. If someone was fucking with us, they were doing it with the dedication of a serial killer or a niche performance artist. No chaos, no mess, no attention-seeking. Just quiet, invasive order. Everything clean, everything intentional. So I did the only thing I could think of. I set up a camera. I dug out my old Logitech webcam from the drawer under the socks and random cables void, dusted it off, and wedged it onto the shelf above my desk. Not subtle, not fancy, but high enough to get most of the room. Bed, desk, chair, door, the cupboard wasn't in frame, but whatever. I wasn't expecting a Ghost Crawl Space episode. I cleared 100 gigabytes off my laptop, created a folder labeled Do Not Delete, opened OBS and hit record. I even left the lights on just to make sure the footage wouldn't be pitch black. If something moved, I'd see it. I checked the angle 3 times before bed, took a photo of the setup, locked my door, hid the key in my sock drawer. Then I laid down, fully clothed, staring at the ceiling like I was waiting to be abducted. Recording 1, size 1.8 megabytes. The next morning, the file was exactly 2 seconds long. Video, black and white still of the room, no audio, no movement, and I wasn't in the bed, just an empty frame. Covers untouched. Pillow hasn't been laid on, like I hadn't been there at all. I checked the time code, 11:11 p.m., which is exactly when I turned the camera on. I told myself maybe I hit record after I got up to turn off the light. Maybe it glitched. Maybe it corrupted. I told myself a lot of things. Recording 2. Night 2, I tried again. Same setup, double-checked the software, triple-checked the angle, left the lights on again, left the laptop charging. This time, the recording was 7 minutes long. Progress, I thought until I watched it. The footage started normal. Me climbing into bed, adjusting the blanket, grabbing my phone. Then, jump cut. No fade, no glitch. Just an abrupt edit. 1 second I'm lying there scrolling TikTok. The next, bed empty. Room quiet. Nothing moves. The last 5 minutes of the file were just stillness. But here's the worst part. I checked my screen time. It said I'd been on my phone until 3:27 a.m. The video ends at 11:22. Recording 3. I wasn't the only one trying to catch something. Sally came into my room Sunday afternoon, looking pale under her usual Disney hoodie. "Can you help me check something?" she asked. She had her phone in her hand, shaky. I tried filming last night. I used the time-lapse thing on my phone and left it on my shelf, just to see. We plugged it into my laptop and watched the 30-second clip. Most of it was static. A few faint shifts as she moved in her sleep. Nothing major. Then around 18 seconds in, there was a frame where her blanket was gone, then back, then gone again. And for 2 frames, literally 2 out of hundreds, her body was sitting up, Not moving, not looking around, just upright. Head tilted forward, arms limp at her sides, like she'd been dropped into a chair from above. "I don't remember that," she whispered. We scrolled back, frame by frame, and I shit you not, between one blink and the next, she was lying down again, blanket restored, like someone pressed undo. She made me delete the file after that, didn't even want to keep it on her phone. She started sleeping with the light on after that, and a knife under her pillow. Not for self-defense, she said, just to feel like she was choosing something. Recording 4. File size 2.4 gigabytes. Duration 5 hours, 17 minutes. Night 3. I filmed again. This time I turned the webcam around. Let it point toward me. Just me in bed, eyes closed, still. I wanted to know if I moved, if I got up, if I talked in my sleep. I hit play. For the first 20 minutes, nothing happened. Just me, asleep, twitching once or twice. Then, at 3:33, the image warped. One frame only, just long enough to see a second version of me sitting upright in the chair across the room, watching me. Next frame, it was gone. Bed still. Me asleep. No one in the chair. I paused it, rewound, frame by frame. There, half lit, barely visible. My face, my hoodie, sitting still, watching me, and my eyes were open. I didn't sleep much after seeing the footage. I kept telling myself I'd imagined it, that the lighting was playing tricks, that I was overtired, that maybe it wasn't me in the chair, just a shape that looked like me, a trick of the shadows, a glitch in the pixels. But the more I rewound that single frame, the more I knew it was me, or at least something that wore my face. Monday afternoon, I showed it to Katie. She was the only one who didn't seem completely freaked out by all the weirdness so far. The only one still cracking jokes in the group chat. The only one still using the kitchen bin like it hadn't been silently mocking us for 2 weeks. I found her in the kitchen eating toast off a cutting board like a gremlin. "Got a sec?" I asked. "Not if this is another my desk moved 1 centimeter again update. Just look at this." I passed her my laptop, hit pause on the frame, 3:33. There I was, lying in bed, and there, across the room, a second me sitting perfectly still in the chair. Faint, but visible, 1 frame only. She squinted at it, then leaned back. "That's your reflection," she said. "There's no mirror there." "Then it's a smudge." "You think I glitched my webcam with a smudge?" She sighed, chewing slowly. "James, I get it. You're freaked out. We're all freaked out. But if you stare at enough frames of grainy footage at 3 a.m., you're gonna start seeing all kinds of shit. I bet if I looked hard enough, I'd see my Nan doing the Macarena behind your desk." I didn't laugh. "This isn't a joke, Kat." She softened a little, but only a little. "Look, even if that's you in the chair, so what? Sleepwalking? Weird subconscious thing? I once woke up holding a Wagamama's menu I didn't remember stealing. Brains are messy." I just stared at her. "You think I sleepwalked across the room, sat in the chair, stared at myself, then vanished without triggering motion blur? You think there's another explanation?" I didn't answer. She handed the laptop back. "Maybe don't keep watching it, you're just feeding it." "Feeding what?" She didn't answer that either. Just scraped the crumbs off the board and left the room. Flat chat at 14:22. Message from Jen. "Can we all be in the kitchen tonight? Not optional. 7 p.m. This is getting fucking weird." Then Sally replied with a thumbs up and a thumbs up emoji, which somehow made it worse. By 7:05 p.m. we were all there. Katie on the counter, swinging her legs. Carrie curled into the corner chair like she was part of the furniture. Jen standing, pacing, fuming. Sally with her hands wrapped around a mug like it contained holy water. Me quiet, watching, wondering if I should have filmed this too. "Okay," Jen said, dragging a hand through her hair. "Cards on the table. No jokes, no ghost banter, no TikTok theories. Bold of you to assume I had jokes left, Katie muttered. Carrie, Jen said sharply, turning to her. Where did your bedside table go? Carrie blinked. What? You said last night it was gone. Gone. Not moved. Gone. Like it never existed. Carrie pulled her sleeves down over her hands. I thought it was a dream. You still think it was a dream? No answer. Jen turned to Sally next. Tell them. Sally shifted in her seat. Eyes darted between all of us. I heard music last night in my room at like 4 a.m. Was someone playing it? Katie asked. No, it wasn't coming from anywhere. It was just there, like it was in the air. Not loud. Just this low, slow, really sad music. You're sure you weren't dreaming? Sally hesitated, then pulled something out of her pocket. It was her phone. On it, a voice memo. Timestamp, 4:03 a.m. She hit play. We listened in silence as faint, tinny audio filled the room. It was hard to describe. Half lullaby, half funeral march, echoey, off-key. Faint chimes and something like breathing underneath. I didn't record that, she whispered. I found it this morning. No one spoke. Then Katie broke the silence. Look, this is all weird, yeah. But let's not start acting like we're in some student house remake of Paranormal Activity. Stuff moves. People forget things. Maybe we're stressed. Maybe it's mold. Maybe we're all just going a bit nuts. You think mold made my calendar jump to 2031? I asked. Yes, she said. Time mold. It's like regular mold, but rude. Someone laughed. It sounded like a cough. Jen slammed her hand on the table. I woke up outside. That got everyone's attention. What? Carrie asked, voice thin. This morning, I woke up outside, front steps, no shoes, no phone, just there. How the fuck? No idea. Door was locked. No one heard anything. And my pillow was still on my bed. She looked around, breathing fast. And none of you even noticed I was gone. We thought you were at the library, Katie said weakly. I wasn't, Jen snapped. I was sitting in the fucking cold watching the streetlights flicker like I was trapped in a screensaver. Everyone went quiet again, until Carrie, voice barely audible, said, I think my room's getting smaller. What? I measured the floor last week, just out of curiosity. It was 2.3 meters wide. Now it's 2.1. Maybe you measured wrong. Maybe, she said. But my bed frame doesn't fit like it used to. There's scratch marks where it scraped the wall. New ones. Jen finally looked at me. James? I met her eyes, thought about showing them the footage again. Instead, I just said, I don't think we're alone. After the meeting, things weirdly got easier. No one solved anything, obviously. We didn't exorcise the bin ghost or discover a haunting clause in our tenancy agreement. But just saying it out loud, all of it, made it feel less suffocating, less personal. Like whatever was happening, it wasn't just happening to me. We started sharing notes, literally. We made a Google Doc. Jen color-coded every incident green for minor weirdness, orange for concerning, red for existential horror. Carrie added timestamps. Sally tried to include temperature readings and moon phases for some reason. Katie drew a dick in the margins, and we left it there because it made us laugh. For the first time in weeks, I slept without my shoes on. That Friday, we had dinner together, like actual dinner. Everyone made a dish. Jen even lit a candle like it was date night. We sat on the floor and talked about anything but the flat. Course deadlines, gossip. What happened to that one guy from pre-drinks who disappeared halfway through first term? We laughed. Like, proper laughed. For about 3 hours, I felt normal. Later, I went to my room, did the usual check the locks, align the desk how I wanted it, plug everything in. No camera tonight, no notes, no tests, just sleep. Or that was the plan. Until I checked the footage from last week, the one I hadn't opened yet. Recording 5. The night after Jen woke up outside, I hadn't touched it because I already knew that night had been fucked. But curiosity got me. File name, Rec. 2024 10/09/2307, MP4, duration 6 hours, 14 minutes, size 5.1 gigabyte, time code 2307 to 521. I pressed play. It started the same, me getting into bed, lights off, stillness. At 0:32, I sat up. Not suddenly, not like I was startled awake, just rose, slowly like I was pulled up by a string. I turned, swung my legs over the bed, stood, then I walked out of frame. For the next 2 hours, the room stayed empty. At 3:33, the camera glitched. The screen flashed just once, like static. When the image returned, I was back, sitting at the desk, facing the camera. Awake, still, staring straight into the lens. And then, I spoke. There was no sound, no audio at all, but my mouth moved, slowly, precisely. 5 words. I replayed it, lip read, frame by frame. You're not watching this live. Then I smiled, a cold, dead smile, and leaned forward as if to get closer to the lens. Then the feed cut to black. I sat frozen, then hit replay. This time there was no glitch, no desk, no movement, no smile. Just me, asleep in bed, perfectly still the whole time. I checked the file size. It had changed. 3.8 gigabytes now, shorter runtime, different checksum, like it had been overwritten. But I remembered it. I knew what I'd seen. I still felt the eyes on me. I went back to the Google Doc and scrolled to the entry for that night. Green. Nothing happened, all good. I changed it to red, then I deleted the entire spreadsheet. I don't know what's real anymore. I don't trust the footage, I don't trust the mirrors, I don't trust myself. I've deleted the files, reinstalled the software, tried to scrub my hard drive like I could erase whatever's gotten into it or into me. But the videos keep coming back. Sometimes they're already waiting on my desktop when I wake up. Perfectly titled, perfectly cut, edited down to only the moments I don't remember. I don't remember writing this, but it's here, in the drafts folder of my Reddit account, dated a week ago, titled exactly what I would have named it. Everything spelled right, everything accurate, including this line I haven't typed yet. You're not watching this live. Update. Thank you for the comments. I tried logging out and deleting the draft, but it keeps restoring itself, even after a full wipe. I'm going to leave my laptop in the kitchen tonight. If it follows me, then I guess I'll know.